Hi and welcome to week 1 of the Spring in Bloom Cal. We're going to be making the flower square this week and I'm going to show you how to make the flower square. So first of all we need to take yarn A, which I'm using the Create DK and it's Primrose Yellow. So you need to take your yarn and we're going to do a magic ring. And then into the centre of your ring we're going to chain 1 and then UK terms 1 treble, chain 1 and repeat that 8 times. Treble, chain 1, treble, chain 1, treble, chain 1, treble, chain 1. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's number 6. Number 7. 1 more treble and chain 1. Then I'm just going to pull my ring tight and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my first treble. And that is round 1 done. So I'm going to fasten off yarn A, Primrose Yellow. Pull that tight and that's round 1 done. Round 2 we'll be attaching the petal pink yarn B. So I've got that ready and you attach in any chain 1 space. So I'm going to go for the one here and you start with a chain 1 into the space. Then we're going to do a V-stitch. So it's 1 treble and then it's 1 chain 1 and then another treble into the same stitch. And that goes into your chain 1 space and you repeat that in your 8 chain 1 spaces, so you'll be left with 8 V-stitches. So that's another one. So it's 1 treble, chain 1 and 1 treble into the same stitch. So repeat that around. And then so you've got your 8 V-stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you're just going to slip stitch to the top of your first treble stitch. So now we're not going to fasten off our yarn, we're going to go straight to round 3. So it's chain 1 and you're going to be working into this chain 1 space. So you're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 half treble crochet, all in the same stitch, 3 trebles, that's 1, 2, 3 trebles, 1 half treble crochet and 1 double crochet, all in your chain 1 space, and you repeat that 8 times. I'll just show you again. So it's 1 double crochet, 1 half treble crochet, 3 treble crochets, that's 1, 2, 3, 1 half treble crochet, and 1 double crochet. So you need to continue that around, and I'll meet you back here. Just onto my last stitch now, my last petal, 1 double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch to our first double crochet, and then we're going to tie off the yarn. Sorry if you can hear the rain. And then we're going to be attaching yarn C, ready for round 4 of the cowl. So we finished round 3, we're on to round 4 now, and we need to attach our yarn C into the space indicated. So it's this space here, in between your petals and in between your V stitches. It'll be this space here, so you can choose any space. So I'm going to go for this one, and you start with a chain 1, and it's 5 to we're going to be doing a popcorn stitch, and it's 5 treble crochets into the same stitch, into the same space. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you take your hook out, and you need to find your first top of your first treble that you made. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5. Insert your hook into number 5, put the yarn back onto your hook and do a slip stitch. So that's a popcorn stitch. Then you're going to chain 4, and your chain will sit behind your petal. You're going to slip stitch into the next space, ready to do your next popcorn stitch. So chain 1, 5 trebles into that space, take your hook out, take your hook into your first treble, hook it over and pull through, chain 4, slip stitch into the next space. Then you're going to repeat that round until you've got 8 popcorn stitches, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. So I've just finished my last popcorn, so I'm going to chain 4, and then we're going to slip stitch into the back of your first popcorn. So just through there, going to slip stitch, and then we're going to tie off the yarn, ready for round 5. So I just wanted to show you what your back of your flower will look like. You've got your chain spaces there. So now we're going to be attaching yarn D, which is the vintage pink for this flower, and you're going to attach it to any of the chain 4 spaces which are sat at the back of your work. So I'll go for this one. I'm going to attach it with a chain 1, and then into the chain 4 space we're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 half treble crochet, 3 trebles. This is all over your chain 4 space, That's 2 trebles, 3 trebles, another half treble crochet and 1 double crochet all over your chain 4 space, and you're going to repeat that around, so you'll be going straight into your next chain 4 space. So it's 1 double crochet, half treble crochet, 3 treble crochets, a half treble crochet and a double crochet. That's 2 petals sitting behind the other ones, and you're going to repeat that around until you have 8 more petals, and I'll meet you back at the end. So I've just completed my last stitch, and now we're going to slip stitch into your first double crochet of the round. There we go, and we're going to fasten off the yarn. We will be attaching your yarn C again for this round, for this flower square. That's your flower square up to round 5. That's what it looks like on the back. So we're going to be reattaching your yarn C, and it's in this space indicated. So it's the space between your double crochets of each petal. So it's just behind your popcorn stitch. So if you insert your hook, and we're going to start with a chain 1, and then it's a popcorn. So remember, 5 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then to finish popcorn you take it out. So that's 1 popcorn in that space. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do another popcorn in the same space. So it's 5 trebles. Just get some yarn out. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's your second treble done into the same space, and then we're going to be doing a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slip stitch into the next space along, ready to do your next 2 popcorns. So in between the double crochets, could be a bit fiddly, there you go, slip stitch into there. So I'll just show you again. Do a popcorn stitch, followed by a chain 1, and then another popcorn stitch into the same space, then that's your 2 popcorn stitches, then it's a chain 5 and a slip stitch into the space between the 2 double crochets, and repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end. So I've just come to the end of my last double popcorn. I've done my chain 5 and I'm just going to slip stitch into the back of the first popcorn and tie my yarn off. And that is round 6 complete, and we'll be moving on to round 7. And I'm just going to try and find, I've got my, we'll be attaching yarn B. So for this flower it's petal pink, and you'll be attaching it to any chain 5 space. So I'll just show you what the chains look like on the back. That's what your flower looks like. So we'll be attaching it to one of these. So I think I'll go here. So the start of round 7, it's a chain 1. It's 1 double crochet. So all your stitches are going to be over your chain 5. So 1 double crochet, 1 half treble crochet, 5 trebles, so 5 trebles. Just get some more yarn out. So that's 5 treble crochets, and then it's a half treble crochet, a double crochet, and this time there's a chain 1. So we're going to repeat that over every chain 5 until you've got 8 petals. So I'll show you again. We've done a chain 1, so it's a double crochet, half treble, 5 trebles, a half treble crochet and a double crochet, and then chain 1, and then repeat that around until you've got your 8 petals in the yarn B for this flower. So I've just come to the end of my last petal. I've done chain 1, and then you're going to slip stitch into there, break your yarn and start off. We'll be going on to round 8. So I've just cut my yarn and we are ready to start round 8, and that is with your yarn C. So for this flower it's your celery, and you're going to be attaching it to any chain 1 space. So from the previous round, so you did your petals, you did your double crochet and you did your chain 1, so you can attach any chain 1 space. I'm going to attach it here. Ignore your yarn tails. So we're going to go chain 1, and we're going to do a popcorn. So we're used to those by now, aren't we? So 5 trebles, so that's your 5 trebles, and then you're going to do a chain 6, and you will slip stitch into your next chain 1 space, ready to do your next popcorn. And your chain 6 will just sit behind your petal. So chain 1, 5 trebles for your popcorn stitch, finish your popcorn stitch and then chain 6, and then slip stitch into your chain 1 space. So repeat that around until you've got your 8 popcorn stitches, and I'll meet you back at the end. So I've just done my last chain 6, so now I'm going to slip stitch to the back of my first popcorn. Let's just lift that up, there it is, there we go. And then you're going to fasten off your yarn. And that is round 8 done. So now we'll be attaching our yarn D and doing the last of the petals. So that's your flower so far, and that's the back of the work with your chain 6 spaces. So let's get yarn D for this flower ready and attach it to any chain 6 space. So I'll go here, start with a chain 1, and it's 1 double crochet, 1 half double crochet, then 7 trebles, five, 6 and 7, and then it's a half double crochet and then a double crochet, and then there's going to be a chain 1. So just move those ends out of the way. We're going to repeat that on the next chain 6 space. So it's a double crochet, 1 half double crochets, 7 treble crochets, 4, 5, 6 and 7, then a half double crochet and a double crochet and a chain 1, and continue around until you've got your 8 yarn D petals, and I'll meet you back at the end. So I've just come to the end, I've done a chain 1, and I'm now just going to do a slip stitch to the first double crochet to finish that round off, and so that is your flower completed up to round 9. Now we're going to fasten off, we fastened off yarn D, we're going to be attaching yarn E, which is powder blue, and it'll be to any of the chain 1 spaces. So we're now going to begin squaring off your flower. So you'll notice we haven't been turning, but you'll need to start turning after rounds 10 and 11. So I'll show you as we go along. So I'm going to attach my yarn into any chain 1 space. I think I'll do it to this one, and it's a chain 1, and it's 2 trebles in that chain 1 space. I've got 1, 2 trebles in the chain 1 space. Then we're going to skip 1, and then it's back loop only 2 half treble crochets. So we're going to skip 1 to back loop only 2 half treble crochets, and then it's 6 DCs. This is all back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back loop only of your flower petal, and then it's 2 half treble crochets, back loop only, and then it's 1 treble over your chain 1 space. So I've got to my chain 1 space and it's 1 treble over that, and then it's skip 1 and it's back loop only, 2 half trebles, and then it's 6 double crochets in the back loop only, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then it's 2 half treble crochets. That's 1, 2. So you can see it's working up. And then in the next chain 1 space, this is going to be your first corner. It's 2 trebles, all in the same space, chain 2 and 2 trebles. So that's going to be your first corner. So that's like side 1 and your first corner. So I'll do this side with you. So we'll repeat that. So we've got your corner space over your chain 1 space. So now we're going to skip 1 and we're going to do 2 trebles, 2 half trebles, and then in the back loop only 6 double crochets, 2 half trebles crochets, 1 treble in the chain 1 space, and then skip 1 and it's 2 half trebles, 6 double crochets, 2 half treble crochets, oops, 1, no I've missed, split a bit there, I don't want that, so it's better, 2 half treble crochets, and then this will be your corner, so it's 2 treble crochets, chain 2, 2 treble crochets. Keep following the pattern and repeat that around, and I'll meet you back at the end. So I've just done my last 2 half double crochets, but we need to finish your last corner, which you've already got 2 stitches in because that's what you started with. So I've done my 2 half double crochets in the back loop only. Now it's 2 trebles into the same space as your first 2 stitches, and then it's chain 2 and you just slip stitch to your first treble of the round, and that's the beginning of your squaring off process, and that's round 10 complete. So now we're going to turn our work, so we'll be working on the back side of your flower for round 11. So we need to slip stitch into your chain 2 space to start off with, so we're just going to slip stitch into there. So now we're ready to begin, and you start with a chain 1, and it's 1 treble in the chain 2 space, and then we're just going to be working into these stitches, so it's 2 trebles, 2 half trebles, crochets, and then it's 17 double crochets. So I won't count out loud, just do the 17. Just on 10. Be a bit fiddly. Right, that's 17 double crochets. Now we need to do 2 half trebles, and then 2 trebles. You've got 2 stitches left, 2 trebles in those before your chain 2 space, and then in your chain 2 space, which is just there, we're going to be doing 1 treble, chain 2, 1 treble. That's your first corner, so that's your side. That's where we started. That's your side. That's your first completed corner. So if we repeat that around, and I'll meet you back to finish off your last corner. I've just done my last treble of that side, so now I need to finish your last corner that you started in. So we're going to do a treble, chain 2, and then a slip stitch into the first treble of the round, and then we're going to fasten off your yarn, and then after round 11 you'll turn your work again. So that's what your flower square will look like at the moment, ready for round 12 onwards. So round 12 we need to attach the primrose yellow, and it's to any corner space, any chain 2 space. So I'm going to attach my yarn to this corner space, and we're going to start with a chain 1 and half treble crochet into that chain 2 space, and then we're going to skip 1. So we're going to skip the next stitch, chain 1, and we're going to put a half treble crochet in the next stitch, and then you do that 13 times across. So chain 1, skip 1, half treble crochet, skip 1, chain 1, half treble crochet, and repeat that across. Until we've got 13. How many have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 and 13. Then you're going to skip 1, chain 1, and then in your chain 2 space It's 1 half treble crochet, chain 2, 1 half treble crochet. So you repeat that around, and I'll meet you back here to finish it off. So I've just done my last half treble crochet of that side, so it's chain 1, skip 1, and then in your last corner it's a half treble crochet, chain 2, and then a slip stitch to your first stitch that you made. And then we're going to fasten off our yarn ready for round 13. And we don't turn anymore, so we only turned your work for 2 rounds. We don't need to turn our work for the next round, which is round 13. We do need to attach celery, so yarn C for round 13. So we're going to attach our yarn to any chain 2 space, and we're going to begin with a chain 1, and we're going to do a puff stitch into this chain 2 space. So it's insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, insert, pull through. Have 6 loops on your hook, pull through. That's a puff stitch. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to puff stitch into this chain 1 space, and we're going to do that across. So done chain 1, insert, yarn over, there's another puff stitch, chain 1, so there 3 puff stitches, so I'll just do another one slowly. So it's insert, yarn over, pull through. Let me just get some yarn, yarn over, pull through. So you've got 6 loops on your hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over, pull through all 6. So you continue along to the end 14 times. Then I've got one more before our chain 2 space, so I'm going to do a puff, chain 1, and that's your 14 puff stitches done down your side. So now you're going to do 1 puff, then it's a chain 2 and 1 puff in your chain 2 space for your corner, and then repeat that around, and I'll see you back here. So I've just done my last puff stitch on the last side, and to finish the corner off it's 1 puff stitch and then chain 2 and slip stitch to your first puff stitch, and then we're going to fasten off our yarn. ready for round 14 of your flower square. So we will be attaching yarn E, which is the powder blue for this square, and it's to any chain 2 space. So I'm going to go here, and round 14 you start with a chain 1, and it's 2 trebles in the chain 2 space. So ignore that now. Then you're going to be doing 2 trebles in each chain 1 space across. So that's 2 trebles in the chain 1 space. Going to just repeat that across to your first corner. So just coming to the end of the row, so in your corner chain 2 space you're going to be doing 2 trebles and then a chain 2 and then 2 trebles. So if you just repeat doing your 2 trebles in the chain 1 spaces and your corner spaces, and I'll meet you back at the end. So I've just done my last 2 trebles from that row, and I just need to finish off your last corner with 2 trebles and a chain 2 and a slip stitch into your first stitch. That's round 14 complete. We're now moving on to the last round, and you will be attaching yarn H, which for the Create DK is off-white. So you need to attach yarn H to any chain 2 space. So I'm going to attach it here, and we're going to start with a chain 1, and then it's 1 half treble crochet, chain 1, 1 half treble crochet in your chain 2 space, and then it's half treble crochet in each stitch across to your next treble chain 2 space. So half treble in each stitch across. So just coming up to the last 2, then in your chain 2 space it's 1 half treble crochet, chain 2, 1 half treble crochet. Repeat that around and I'll meet you back to finish off your square. So I've just done my last half treble crochet the side, and all you have to do is slip stitch to the first one you made, and then tie off, and that is your flower square complete. You can block your flower square if you want into shape. I lightly steam blocked mine. There's also the flower colour chart to follow for the rest of your flowers for week 1, and also for other parts of the cal. You can refer back to this video to make your flower square. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for week 2.